Today I'd like to talk about graduating from Earth with the assumption, with the presumption, with the understanding that Earth is a school. It is a type of school. It is an advanced education facility for the spirit. So we've been talking about karma and protecting your karma and basically living out your highest good and trying to earn karmic credit instead of to end up in karmic debt. Because karma at the end of your term is like your school credit. Like when you go to school, you take a course and you get a certain credit. So each course, you get 3 credits. If you complete the course, if you don't complete the course, you get 0 credits. If you do things wrong and through bad behavior, you can get negative credits. You can get kicked out of school. And not everybody who goes to school will finish. There are people who drop out. There are people who take a lot longer than others. But you want to accumulate these credits at the end of your education. When you have enough credits, you can graduate. So if karma is this kind of like educational credit, you want to have enough karmic credit to graduate. Now the question is, when you go to school, you take a certain curriculum. Everybody takes a different curriculum. Some people study psychology, some people study science, some people go into philosophy, and within those different faculties of learning, there are different kinds of specialities, right? You can go into science and you can do biology, you can do quantum physics, you can get into mechanical, you can go into engineering. There's civil engineering, there's mechanical engineering, there's nuclear engineering, there's water engineering, there's any engineering you can think of. So school is a vast source of knowledge. And when you go to school, you identify those areas you want to learn. And then you take those courses, you earn those credits in order to graduate. So, moving along here. If school is an Earth, if Earth is a school, school is an Earth. If Earth is a school, then why you came here, what you came here to learn was specified in your incarnation contract. You see how these things are tying together. There's your karma, which is kind of your school credit. There's your there's a lot of people coming over there. There's your learning program, your curriculum, which is labeled in your incarnation contract. And that all is based on the understanding that this is a school of learning. Now, Earth has a problem because a lot of people have actually forgotten that Earth is a school. And maybe it's because the concept is too simple. Maybe it's because not enough people are talking about it. Maybe it's because most people are mired in pain and suffering. And they're immersed in chaos and saturated in desire for things. Most people are chasing after rainbows. I want to be richer, I want to be more beautiful, I want to be more successful, I want to have a bigger house. I want to have nicer clothes. You know, we're chasing all these things, which if from a spiritual perception, at the end of your life, none of that is going to be tabulated. When you have a life review at the end of your life, no one asks you how much money you had in the bank, if you were who was your fashion designer, and how many times you had sex. No one asks you that. No one asks you what kind of car you were driving. No one asks you, you know, what's the most expensive restaurant you ate at? Who did you date? Who you knew? Right. Who were your circle of friends? They do not. I've had a life review. I've had more than one life review. And those questions were not only never asked, they were never thought of. Instead, they were thinking of things more akin to what we're discussing here from a spiritual understanding. You know, there's people there. So, a spiritual understanding says that you come here for a specific reason, and the underlying reasons to everything you do is relatable to learning. And when you finish what you want to have the credits to graduate. That's your goal in life, is to graduate. That's your spiritual goal in life. Yes, you have to do a bunch of things in your life, and you have to go through the trudge. You have to do the hard work, and you have to trudge through. You won't be able to graduate when you're 25 years old, because you haven't done everything you're supposed to do. The idea is by the time you leave, you are ready to graduate, or you're close to graduation. Now, the issue is this, that when you go to school, imagine you go to grade 7. Okay? Let's say Earth in a cosmic context is grade 7. So we know that there's 12 basic grades for grade school, then there's college, there's university, and there's higher education. There's specialization. So there's quite a large amount of schooling. Let's say in the cosmic sense that Earth, for a purpose of discussion, let's say Earth is grade 7. That's about your puberty. That's about age 12 to 14, around there. That's Earth. So you go to Earth. So you go to grade 7. Now you go to grade 7, and let's say you're 12 years old. You're 12 years old, it's grade 7. What do you want to do in grade 7? You want to finish grade 7, because no one likes grade 7. I want to get to grade 8. You naturally, you want to go into the next grade. And that's your motivation for doing well, doing the homework, getting to know people, satisfying the teacher's requirements. So you naturally want to finish grade 7, and you want to get to grade 8. So I think that's pretty normal. So that by age 14, by age 13, you're already entering into, here would be junior high school, or the next category of education. So you have this in your mind. I want to finish this course. I want to finish this grade. I want to move on. Now imagine you're sitting in grade 7, and beside you is a 40-year-old woman. A 40-year-old woman, she's taking grade 7. What do you think? You think, well, what's wrong with that woman? It's very unusual. What happened for that woman, a 40-year-old woman, to be in grade 7? Is there something wrong up here? Is there something wrong down here? Did something happen in her life? You begin to say, that's strange. Now imagine there's a man who's 50 years old. He's taking grade 7. You're thinking, I'm 12. Why is a 50-year-old man in here with all these kids? What is wrong with this picture? So you see where I'm going. Earth is like grade 7, and there's like 2 people who are 12 years old, and the rest of the class is over 50. That's the Earth. The grade 7 is full of these people who should not be in grade 7. And all of these people are justifying their presence in the class because they don't want to grow up. They don't want to graduate. They're afraid of grade 8. They're afraid of it. Why are they afraid? Because they've been manipulated year after year. They've been brainwashed to stay in grade 7. They've been brainwashed that this is not a school. This is a playground. Come as often as you want. You don't have to do your homework. Just play around. You'll get in trouble. Don't worry. You can keep coming back. Keep coming back. The teacher of Earth is total manipulation. And the curriculum is designed for you to fail. So that year after year, nobody can get to grade 8. And so the class gets older and older. Now sometimes you get a 12-year-old who comes to class and they move on because, they're focused, they understand, they're ready. Sometimes you'll get a 55-year-old guy. He'll come in, finally have a period of spiritual awakening, and he will trudge through and move on to grade 8. But those are very rare. So this analogy translates to Earth. There are all these old souls here who have been reincarnating into the same reality when they should have graduated. You should no longer be here. Right? And the purpose of graduation, there is a logical reason for people to graduate school, is to make room for new students. If you go to university and people don't finish their curriculum in 4 years or 5 years, then there's a buildup of all these old students, mature students. And because there's only so much room in the classes and there are only so many teachers, the new student enrollment will be limited. So the purpose of graduation is to allow this process to move, right? This current to move. School system should not be stagnating. That's not good for school. So Earth is this problem. Earth is that people come here, they don't realize they're supposed to graduate. And they say, well, I can do whatever I want, right? The brainwashing says, you can do whatever you want, you can be whatever you can be, you can do whatever, anything that's in your mind, you can achieve. The spiritual aspect says, you have a contract, you come here for a reason, learn your curriculum, get your credits, and go. Because there are other schools, there are better schools outside of Earth. Yes, there are other schools. And in your particular case, if you didn't learn everything, you can come back. But you shouldn't be coming back 100 times. And this is the problem. This is the problem of Earth. We need to graduate. We need to graduate. And that means we need to be a little bit more disciplined in how we go through life. We need to learn what we came here to learn, do what we came here to do, and at the end, We have the credits, we do the life review, and they say, well, you've done enough. We're going to push you through. You don't have to reincarnate back on Earth. Now, a lot of the reason why what I'm talking about may seem strange and you may have originally been allocated to spirituality and religion and all that, which it is not. I'm not talking in spiritual terms, if only just to relate it, but I'm not talking in spiritual terms. My discussion is mostly technological, actually. It is technological. The reality is this system. It's a system of learning, right? School is not spiritual. When you go to university, it's not spiritual. It's a system of learning. Earth is a system of learning. It's just a much larger system. It's a more complicated system. The idea is you incarnate, live a fulfilling life, and go. The idea is not to do everything. The idea is not to achieve everything. The idea is not to stay here until everything is done, which is the brainwashing. That's the hypnosis. The hypnosis says, be everything, you can do whatever. Look, all these things you can do. You're not good enough. You're not strong enough. You're not fast enough. You're not rich enough. You're not funny enough. You're not pretty enough. And you feel inadequate. And therefore you say, I gotta stay here. I gotta stay here. I'm not good enough. I gotta stay here. I didn't learn everything. I'm no good. I'm no good. It's the wrong approach. When you go to university, like if you go to university to study philosophy, you study philosophy and you graduate. You don't study philosophy and then I'm going to do science and then I'm going to do engineering and then I'm going to do business and then I'm going to do sewing and then I'm going to do fitness. You're going to be there forever. What's the point? I got a degree in philosophy, I got a degree in science, biology, I got a degree in psychotherapy. I don't even know who I am. The purpose is not to learn everything. More often than not, if you've been here a few times, you're very wise. You already have most of your credits, you've already done most of the courses. What you don't have is that self-respect to say, I'm ready to go. And there's a few things you need to learn. One is that you need to learn, I learned all this stuff before. Why do I have to learn it again? You know, I've done this in previous lives. I understand this. Why am I in this situation? Try to get that understanding. The point is, a lot of the old souls here, they have already attained the credits, or they're very close, but they just need to realize that this is a school. Some old souls, I think, are here to teach others, right? That might be your next level, is that you're an old soul and you know everything. Maybe you need to teach others. To say, you need to graduate. You came here to graduate. Don't learn everything. Don't learn everything. You don't need to know everything. Just get done what you're supposed to get done, do your thing, and go. If at the end you want to come back, you can come back. Right? That'll be determined later. So, my view is Earth is a school. And if you've been here a while and if you've been reincarnating, if that makes sense to you, it's time you really, you need to graduate. You need to go, and then you make room for the other students. We need to make room for other people, because I'm taking up space. We need to move people along. You need to tell some people who are stuck here. Some people are in a bad situation, or bad psychological situation, or financial situation. Maybe they have been here so many times they forgot to graduate. They forgot what they've learned. And maybe they, with a few steps of understanding, they can realize, they can have that enlightenment, right? Now I get it. I've been chasing all these rainbows when I should be teaching people. And that teaching is my last step. My teaching is part of that, the final curriculum, right? That could be it. Teaching is karmically inclined. Sometimes, you know, if you have knowledge to share and you teach, you feel better about yourself and you help others feel better. So, graduating the earth. It's important. I would like you to graduate when you're ready. If this is your first time here, maybe it's a little premature. But if you've been here a while, and what I'm saying makes sense, and you know in your heart that you've overstayed your welcome, you know that you're a little too old for this class, don't be so selfish. You know, finish your curriculum, get your credits, and at the end of this life, move along.